Hi my angels, I'm Sierra, and in today's video I'm going to be telling you guys a story about being homeless in Canada. So basically I'm just going to give you like a quick rundown of what happened, but without going into a lot of detail because, I just don't feel comfortable going into a lot of detail. But anyway, so basically I was told all, with very short notice that I was no longer able to stay where I was. So I ended up having to basically right away get a hotel room, which I got for a couple days at a time, which was really scary because it was once, we were done at that hotel, we didn't know where we were going next. Also, when I got to that hotel, at first I was told that like I couldn't use my debit card, I needed a credit card, which I don't have a credit card, so that was a whole thing. But I ended up getting in, like it was okay. And then I ended up having to switch from that hotel to, I had to go to this like hangout spot in the city where I live, which was kind of terrifying because there is a lot of different people there and a lot of strangers, people I didn't know. And this like is a hangout spot for people who are homeless. And then when I was there, I ended up having like, because I was going from one hotel to another, I had a lot of stuff with me and I had groceries with me because I need to be able to eat, and the hotel I was going to was a little bit on the edge of town, so I didn't have access to a grocery store. And I had somebody basically walk up to me and say like, you look like you have a lot of money, like you look like you shouldn't be here type of thing. And I'm used to people saying the opposite about me, where they say I look like I don't have a lot of money, and I don't look like the stereotypical homeless person. Like I have clean clothes and that don't have rips in them, and I'm able to do my makeup, and I was able to have food, and I don't exhibit a lot of the signs of being homeless, and yet I still am. So that was kind of weird having somebody say like, you look like you have too much money to be homeless, and it's like, I wish, like I wish that was true, but it's not. So don't judge a book by its cover. Just quick little side note. It was also terrifying going between hotel rooms because I'd have like a couple days at a time at like one hotel, and then I wouldn't know where I was going next. And then in the one hotel that I stayed at the longest, I ended up having to switch rooms a couple times because, they had to make room for other people. But it was also weird because I didn't have access to like a fridge or a stove. I had a mini fridge, but like it was a very mini fridge. It was tiny. And it's weird because that doesn't seem like the worst thing in the world. Like I've literally seen people laying on the streets or in stairwells, which I'll talk about that a little more later. So the fact I didn't have a stove isn't like the biggest deal in the world, but at the same time you kind of take advantage of it when you have it, and then when you don't, you're like, oh, I no longer have this basic necessity, okay. And then now I'm staying at like a shelter, which is for women, and it's a shared space. I have my own bedroom, but the bathroom is shared, the kitchen is shared, the living rooms are shared. I had somebody kind of connected to residence for people who are in university. It kind of has like that type of vibe. I mean, I've never lived in residence, so I don't know, but it is that, yeah, it's that type of vibe, which I'm very happy I'm there because now I have like shelter, and I have access to a stove again. I have access to like a normal sized fridge, and like I have a shower and a bath, and some people that are literally on the street don't have that. So like I'm very thankful, but it's weird getting used to it, like having to go and meet new people and share space with them. It's very interesting to get used to. But where I'm staying is right across the road from the hangout spot I was at. And the other night I saw, basically there's people sleeping on the street, which if you look out like my bedroom window, you can see people literally laying in the street. And some of them are like laying on like basically garbage bags filled with I assume is clothes, maybe some food and stuff. But there was this one person who was screaming the other night in the middle of the night, and apparently somebody who wasn't homeless passed by and decided to chuck a bunch of garbage out at them. So the police ended up having to come because you shouldn't be throwing garbage at people. Like, that's just disrespectful and rude. Like, I don't care who you are, who they are. Like, don't throw garbage at them. Just in case somebody needed to tell you not to throw garbage at other human beings. But I remember I looked out my window at one point just because I just happened to look at the window, and there was like 8 cop cars and all you see is people like sleeping on the streets. And apparently one of the stairwells, like outside the building where I'm staying, there's somebody who is sleeping, or was. I think they end up leaving, but there's someone sleeping in that stairwell. And it's kind of weird because you don't think about it until you're living it, and you look at it and you're like, oh, I have shelter and that person doesn't. Like, I almost didn't have shelter. Like, I'm very lucky that I got in where I got in. Like, I remember, like, I had to call a couple of other, like, homeless shelters, which are more like, this one is, you know, you can be there all day. Like, it's almost like an apartment, but it's not type thing. And I do have to pay rent, which I'm not going to say how much I'm paying because that's no one's business, but it is a lot cheaper than what most places are. And yeah, I don't remember what I was going to say next, but I'm very fortunate that I found where I'm staying. One benefit though, besides, I mean, I have shelter and I now have access to fridge and stove, and I have, you know, plumbing, and I have all my basic necessities and stuff. But there's therapy dogs because they had an arts and crafts day today, and then they had a barbecue as well to like to feed the people living there. And I went down and, you know, I got some food, and they also gave me a lot of extra food, which was nice because I remember what it was like to go hungry, and now it's like, oh, here, have like 2 chickens and some eggs and some bread and some milk and some basic food necessities that are like, oh, sweet, I get to eat now, yay. But it's such a sad sentence. But there is arts and crafts and therapy dogs, and I like dogs. I'm down for therapy dogs. You know, it was great. But I think I'm gonna leave it there. I'm probably going to, oh, also before I forget, I'm not going to be uploading Tuesdays and Fridays anymore because the only thing I don't have yet is access to Wi-Fi, unless I like go somewhere. So I don't know when I'm going to have access to it. I'm going to try to get Wi-Fi where I am because we are allowed to like get our own Wi-Fi and like pay for it, but I won't be able to do that until like the end of this month or like beginning of next month at the earliest. So for the next little while, I won't be posting Tuesdays and Fridays. I'm going to be posting when I can. So I might, you know, have a video up on like a Wednesday 1 week and then not be able to post for another 2 weeks. But anyways, I think I'm going to leave it there. I am going to have more videos in the future updating you guys about what it's like truly to be homeless in Canada. I just want to give you guys a little bit of an update. Anyways, I love you so much. Please stay safe and healthy. Cheers!